This is the brief story of U-853. First of all, I just wanted to apologize about the quality of this video. The visibility was not that great on this dive, but it was still a good dive, and there's a lot of history to go with it. So right here I'm just making a transition from the Traverse Carolina rig over to the Maine downline. In the weeks leading to the formal German surrender on May 7th, 1945, the U-boat fleet was still causing a lot of damage in the North Atlantic. So here I am just descending to the conning tower. The top of the conning tower is at about 110 feet of water. USS Eagle Boat PE-56 was destroyed by this U-boat patrolling of the coast of Maine. 13 of 67 crewmen aboard the Eagle Boat survived. What I'm looking at here is a forward blast hole, which probably caused the most damage to the sub, and this blast hole is located just in front of the conning tower on the main deck, so it's a nice big entrance for penetration. On May 5th, 1945 at 5 p.m., only 2 days before the official German surrender, U-853 fired upon a Black Point with 46 crewmen aboard carrying 7,600 tons of coal from New York to Boston. Loading hatch for supplies and things like that. And just forward of the loading hatch, there is a torpedo loading hatch. The forward torpedo loading hatch, there are two of them on the ship. There is one aft of the conning tower and there is one in the front. So we'll see the front one coming up. This is either the exhaust port or another loading hatch. So this is the torpedo. Torpedoes were loaded at a angle. They were kind of lowered into this hole at an angle and placed in racks. There were 22 torpedoes on board this U-boat. As you can see, it's pretty dark down there. I know people that go inside this rack, but there is nothing there worth risking my life for. So, and especially in this low visibility condition, I am not going to go inside it. The commander of this U-boat was 24 years old, Helmut Fromsdorf. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. And my apologies if I mispronounced it. But he was 24 years old. So this is just coming up on the bow of the U-boat, and we're seeing some fishing nets, which is pretty usual thing to see on a wreck like this. There are a lot of marine life, and there's a lot of fishing going on there. Right now we're just coming back towards the conning tower. They fired on collier, which was transporting coal from New York to Boston. and it sank in 25 minutes, turned over, and it sank. 12 members of the crew of the Black Diamond survived, of the 46 total crew members. Black Point, the name of the wreck is Black Point. I called it incorrectly as Black Diamond. It's Black Point. So afterwards, 11 Navy and Coast Guard vessels quickly arrived on the scene and started bombarding this whole area with sonar. They set up a sonar barrier near Block Island and the Block Island Sound. And pretty soon they had a radar contact with an underwater object, which was moving in an easterly direction. USS Atherton DE-169 launched several magnetic depth charges. One of the charges exploded, and then they followed by a barrage of hedgehog attack, or hedgehog bombs, which basically just disperses a lot of bombs through a wide area. But the U-boat apparently slipped away, and they couldn't find it for a few hours until just before midnight. Atherton picked up another sonar contact of an object which was lying silent in 100 feet of water. And this followed another attack by the hedgehogs. Some debris was reported coming up to the surface, oil slick, things floating up to the surface. Here we see some divers on a conning tower. Block Island. This is the aft gun mount. The gun is now no longer there, but the mount is. It's kind of a cool structure. Lots of fish on it. $110 there. At 2 a.m. on May 6, 1945, USS Moberly PF-63 again detected a slow-moving sonar contact. Moberly positioned itself and sent out a barrage of explosives. And it sent so the final set of explosives sent U-853 down to the bottom where it's resting today, 130 feet below surface, approximately 6 miles northeast of Block Island. At this point, my depth is 110 feet, 17 minutes into the dive. My computer is showing that I have a stop Mandatory decompression stop at 20 feet for 4 minutes. That time is gonna go up, and the decompression stop is gonna be increasing as the time goes on. I am on open circuit with twin cylinders on my back with 22% oxygen and 25% helium. That's my main breathing mix. And if I left the bottom right now, at this point it would take me about 8 minutes to reach the surface. So I'm just continuing with the dive at this point. "12:30 p.m. a Navy diver from USS Penguin, ASR 12, was lowered to the conning tower to observe the wreck, and he reported that the wreck was split. He also saw human remains and bodies floating around all throughout the wreck. I made my way back to the upline, and above me is a strobe light that I placed on my way down. So I'm gonna pick up that strobe, turn it off, and I'm gonna take it back up with me. At some point along my ascent at 70 feet, I'm gonna switch my breathing mix to a 50% nitrox to accelerate the decompression. There were a total of 55 crewmen aboard this boat. There are 54 of them there today. One of them was removed and buried in Newport with full military honors in 1966. U-853 is a type IXC/40 German U-boat. Its keel was laid in August 21st, 1942. It was launched on March 11th, 1943. The U-boat weight was roughly 1,100 tons, or approximately equivalent to 30 18-wheeler semi-trucks. It's about 250 feet long, which is about 2/3 of the football field. And like I was saying, it's armed with 22 torpedoes. Its top cruising speed is just over 18 knots, with a range of 11,000 nautical miles. And that's 3 times the distance from Berlin to Rhode Island. At this point, I'm going to stop narrating the video. I hope you liked what you saw here. Please post your comments, and I will try to answer any questions. Thank you.